Hello, my name is Andrew Thake. I'm from Minds and Money TV. And today we've got a fantastic guest. We have Ivan Bebek, who's founder and chairman of three great companies, Tier 1, Sombrero, and Fury Gold Mines. Delighted that you're with us today, Ivan.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
Hey, excellent. What's the current state of the market like at the moment?
Oh, it's a secular bull market, and as exciting as that sounds, it is tough when we're in the downturns. But I describe the market as highly opportunistic. We're coming out of a very soft quarter in a lot of these equities that are trading based on metal prices. I think the outlook for copper, gold, and silver is fantastic. You're seeing a lot of supply crunches. You're not seeing a lot of discoveries, and the demand is most certainly increasing. So I think we're on our way to another big wave to the upside on the second half of the year, and it's a really good time, opportunistic time is how I describe it right now.
And then just like looking at each of your companies in turn, let's look at like Tier 1 first. What are the key updates that are happening at Tier 1 that you'd like to share with investors who are listening into this call?
Sure. So we started drilling this Curibaya project, which basically has a jewelry box of silver and gold on surface that we've advertised quite well. The good news is the jewelry box gets bigger. You're going to see a lot of samples and some trenches in new areas in the next coming weeks as we're drilling our first hole, which we're about halfway down a 700-meter hole. And, I can't really comment on drilling without getting assays, but the rock can look good or it can look bad. And I'm going to air that we're very excited with what we're seeing, and we've got our fingers crossed that that jewelry box repeats itself somewhere down beneath the surface. This is a world-class belt. Some of the largest mines in the world are here, predominantly porphyry mines. This is the first epithermal mine on this trend. And, to finally be drilling it versus talking about drilling it is great, but also seeing the footprint of this kind of jewelry box or extremely high bonanza grade expanding at the same time. What we're feeling, Andrew, is that this is a real big system and it's legitimate. We think it's going to actually be there. Exactly what grades and widths we don't know yet, but it's one of the most exciting things that I've ever drilled in my 21 careers of doing this. So very exciting. A lot of news around the corner about things getting bigger on the footprint on surface and results next 6 to 8 weeks out.
And switching just to Fury Gold Mines briefly, I understand that you have some holes pending there.
Yeah, so we started a 50,000-meter drill program in October, and we took a time value concept. There was 1 million ounces of high grade, and where it's been predominantly focused on in one spot. And we basically went on the north and the south ends of the actual deposit to see if this thing got multiplying bigger in terms of, can it go to 2 or 3 million ounces of high grade? Can we multiply this thing? So the time value concept was do these huge step outs 700 meters, a kilometer away from the deposit, and see if you start to get the same grade that you're seeing in the main deposit. And we've certainly shown that already. But one of the most exciting targets that was just recently drilled, where we're waiting on assays in the next couple of weeks here, is this hinge target. It's kind of at the nose of the deposit. Entire deposit sits in a limb, and generally hinges are the most robust part of these systems. They generally carry the highest grade and the most richest part. So we have 3 holes into the hinge that come back, in the first half of July, and we've had our fingers crossed for too long waiting on assay results. But we definitely see Eau Claire getting bigger. And we now see that in 2 different areas, the potential to multiply it to 2 or 3 million ounces. So definitely a project that took a little bit of time to get a handle on. It took us some time before we hit, the 7 meters or 23 grams and started to see some higher grade holes out of the system. But we've definitely opened up for, a lot more drilling because we think there's going to be a lot more gold there. So stay tuned for results here in the coming weeks.
And then just on to your third company, Sombrero. I hear that it's coming back into production. Can you give us any updates on that?
Oh, you mean to get listed? Yeah. So last year we were One Resources, and just a really quick, concise theory. We raised and spent over $100 million looking for the world's largest mines. We ended up with gold, silver, and copper opportunities, and Sombrero was the copper opportunity. We spun out Tier 1. It's trading today at around $1.40 or 180 million market cap with the drills turning. Fury Gold Mines was the first company that was listed. It was listed since October, and it's doing extremely well, finally turning that corner where it can grow. And Sombrero, which arguably was the pearl of Oren when Oren had a 200-300 million market cap because of this massive copper skarn and porphyry opportunity in Peru. We've been waiting impatiently, because it's such a big target, for some access permits so we can go drill it. And we are in the final stages of getting those access arrangements. We are very confident we're going to get them over the summer and be trading in Q4. This is a project that, identifies as an analog to a Las Bambas, which is 1.6 billion tons of 0.6. It sits on surface. There's some historical drilling in it. And, I'm the CEO of Sombrero, the chairman of Fury, and the chairman of Tier 1 Silver. And so I can't wait to roll up the sleeves this fall, but we should have that third company trading in Q4, and it's going to be exciting. There's a lot of areas there we have not sampled, and there's going to be a 12 kilometers or so of drill targets to go drill. It's a huge system. So right around the corner, and then the Oran dream of splitting ourselves into three via spinning out two assets and letting Fury continue, it comes true. And shareholders will have done extremely well who owned Oran. And just these are big targets. And Andrew, good markets or bad markets, the scale of the opportunity that we're going for will win in any market. And that's what's important. For us to take investors' time and patience and investors' money, it has to be worthwhile. We have a former technical team from Newmont. We've gone after world-class major mining company type of exploration projects. And this is the year of drilling where we get to see if we really have all of them. So 2 out of 3 are drilling. Third one comes back, Sombrero, later this year. And it's going to be a very, very exciting finish to the year.
You can have talked so far about the high quality geology and grade of all 3 of your companies. Can you talk us a little bit more about the management team experience of all 3 companies? I mean, of course, you've got 21 years experience and they're within the business, but you're backed by like a great team.
Yeah, so we came together as a group in 2005, myself and Sean Wallace, and we wanted to go find a 5 million ounce mine in our first company. We did this in a company called Keegan Resources. And that was a bit better than just finding 5 million ounces, because we met some geologists from Newmont, Michael Hendrickson and Dave Smithson. These guys were global experts. One was the global structural geologist, one was the global mapper, and they worked with an incredible team of other experts at Newmont that were responsible for taking a HAFO from 8 to almost 30 million ounces of gold, and they got this global look. Long story short, we connected with them on Caden Resources, our second company, where we sold Caden, an exploration project in the exploration phase, to Agnico Eagle for $200 million in 2014. And there was no resource yet. It's a phenomenal project with a lot of blue sky, a lot of room to grow, but it was a really, really indicative of where the industry's at. It's very hard to find quality type of exploration opportunities and assets. And you're going to see a lot of these bigger companies come downstream to go hunting for them. As great as it is when the metal prices go up, production's not being replenished the same way it was before. So from that being said, this team that we have, it's, if you look at our data, if you look at the style of geology we do, it's like looking at Newmont quality, because that's where all these geologists are from. Some are from Barrick, some are from BHP. I mean, that's the caliber of work we're doing. It's expensive and it's extensive. It's very elaborate, but it is absolutely paramount in any success we're going to deliver to shareholders. And to go after a 20 million ounce gold discovery, or to go after a multi-billion ton porphyry, you need a team like this to do it. It allows you to be able to finance it, and it reduces the risk of doing it. And the last point I'll make, Andrew, is each company has more than one asset in it. And this is paramount towards our business plan. There's a lot of risk in taking huge swings like this in the business. And as a very large shareholder, or the largest shareholder amongst management of each company, I want to have as much insurance as I can. And I want to have more than one huge swings at the Grand Slam, if possible, and then manage it intelligently with our capital requirements. And so we're anti-dilutive as we go and take on these efforts. However, if you are successful in one of these 3 assets in each company, or 4 that sit in the companies, then you're safe. You've made the hit. You've had this performing share price. If you're not, maybe asset 2, asset 3 does it. Or if all of them are successful in one of these companies, then we can spin out and sell some of these transactions as we go. The trick for us was in the bear market. Now we're out of that. We're going into the secular bull market again. But in the bear market phase, we wanted to be first movers. We wanted to go out there because we had the wind behind our back from our previous successes. We wanted to get all the prime real estate. In a real estate analogy, we wanted all the waterfront of California before California became California. And now we're going to go develop it, is kind of how we feel. It's incredibly hard to find these things. We've been through 5 different presidents in Peru, but it's one of our favorite places in the world. And, you know, it's on its way to continuing to be a great place for exploration. Canada in the backyard, to even talk about high grade gold opportunities that can grow in Canada in Fury gold mines. This is spectacular because the geopolitical risk is next to nil, you know, compared to other places. And lastly, you know, I think that this industry has bigger challenges that no one talks about, the elephant in the room, and that's discovery. And if you look at the time it takes to build these mines, should you get it right, you know, it's 11 to 20 years, depending if it's gold or copper, whatever it may be. And you have social challenges, you have political challenges along the way. What I'm saying there is discovery is going to be worth more. Our business model is world-class discoveries and monetize with a sale to a bigger company at some point once those discoveries are made and we've de-risked it enough to transact. And that's what we want to do for the shareholders for each company. We feel we have the most compelling gold, silver, and copper opportunities globally as a group right now, and that's what we're charging ahead on.
So to be very, very clear, your like long-term goal with all 3 companies is to go and sell before reaching production, rather than to going into production itself.
Yeah, so very sober, honest with ourselves. We're explorationists. We like to find things, and we do have some development background in Fury gold mines, and we have a development opportunity. We have built a mine before, but in terms of what really moves the needle for us and what's going to move the needle for our share price, it's finding new ounces, finding new tons of copper, you know, or finding new ounces of silver. You know, this is what's going to drive the most value. If you look for a big enough target, you're going to satisfy that equation, whether you want to sell it or not. The choice will be made for you if you're successful. So our model, what we're designed to do is to go find it. If we don't succeed in selling it though, we'll do what we did in Keegan. We actually built a mine that's producing today a few 100,000 ounces a year. So, you know, the preference is that we do execute that way. The targets are big enough that that decision will be made by shareholders, not by management, meaning if you get it right, you'll have a robust share price return, and the major mining companies would be very interested to purchase it. However, we've done it before, the ability to convert things from exploration into development, but our passion's in finding the big ones. And, you know, I think the major mining companies recognize that we're an aggressive exploration group. We take it to the next level in terms of our pre-drilling work that we do, also our social impacts in the communities and the time we take. Sombrero has taken us almost 2 years to get a social or an access permit there. And we've done things in a very patient manner to build very long-term, sustainable, very positive impacts. And, you know, some of the feedback's been that's way above and beyond the typical exploration company. However, our confidence is so high, we might have a discovery. We want to have that reaction, you know, from the communities. We want them to like us being there, and we want it to be more than somebody that comes in with some money. They have to benefit as much or more than we benefit in their own lives if we're going to be there. Tier 1 silver is a pretty great story of our social impact, because when we went to go drill a few weeks ago, we started drilling, you know, the shaman and the town came out and they had this incredible ceremony, and there was pisco sour. It's a very common drink in Peru that was being sprayed all over the place. There was a very, 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 very cool ceremony. And there was a lot of, you know, COVID related, but high fives and clapping and wishing us the best of luck. And getting that response from these communities in these towns, especially in a place like South America, like Peru, that's paramount in a couple things. One, we've done our job well and we're showing respect. We're being classy about our presence. Number 2, they recognize the improved living conditions they're going to have and the access to a lot more benefits that's going to benefit their community and their children to come. So we're as proud about our social impact as we are about our potential discovery impact. You know, we are citizens of every culture, and we want people to benefit as much as we do along the way there. So it's been exciting, Andrew, to say the least. And, you know, the projects are big, the swings are very big. And the opportunity is now. This is the timing. This is the head of the next big bull market run in metals, and you know, take advantage. And when the market's quiet or the gold is down or the sentiment's off, it's summertime. That's a buying season for anybody that follows this, Michael. Just look at a chart. You'll see the cycles. They repeat themselves quite often.
Excellent. Well, look, it's been absolutely fantastic catching up with you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but that was Ivan Bebek, founder and chairman of Tier 1, Sombrero, and Fury Gold Mines.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure to be here.